Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Adelia Putri Rahman. I'm from class D. In this mini lesson, we will explain the steps and strategies that we will use when teaching in the classroom, especially in teaching morphemes. The target of our lesson is senior high school students, consisting of approximately 30 students. As future teachers, it is important for us not only to understand the material but also to know how to deliver it so that student can understand it well. Therefore, we have designed several stages in the teaching process that are systematic and well structured, based on the student's characteristics. One of the most important initial steps in the teaching is determining the learning objectives. These objectives serve as a guideline for teachers in delivering the material and help students understand what they are expected to achieve after the learning process. In this part, I will explain further about learning objectives, starting from their definition to the types used in the teaching process. Learning objectives are a statement that describe what students are expected to achieve after the learning process. These objectives are very important because they provide clear direction in the learning process, help students understand their learning goals, and serve as a basis for teachers in determining teaching strategies and evaluation. In this mini lesson, we use three types of learning objectives: cognitive, active, and psychomotor. Cognitive objectives are related to students' thinking skills and understanding. In the learning morphemes, students are expected to be able to identify and differentiate bound morphemes, namely prefix and suffix in a word. Active objectives are related to students' attitudes during the learning process. In this case, students are expected to show activeness, interest, and positive attitudes during the learning activities. Psychomotor objectives are related to student skills. Students are expected to be able to form new words using prefix and suffix correctly. With clear learning objectives, teacher can design learning activities that are direct and effective. Next, my friends will explain material and resources, lesson procedures, assessment, and pedagogical notes. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, in this part I will explain the materials and research. This listen. These materials are very important because they help support the teaching and learning process, especially when students are learning about prefix and suffix. So, first, we use a whiteboard and markers. The whiteboard is used by the teacher to explain the lesson clearly. For example, the teacher can write example of words, break them into parts, and show how prefix and suffix are added. This helps students understand the concept visually. Second, we have worksheet. Worksheets are used to give students practice. After the explanations, students can complete exercise such identifying prefix and suffix, or creating new words. This helps reinforce their understanding. And next, we use flashcards. Flashcards are very useful and intuitive. Each card may contain a prefix, a suffix, or a root word. Students can combine them to form new words. This activity makes learning more fun and engaging. Lastly, we can use PowerPoint slide. Also, they are optional. PowerPoint helps present the material in a more interesting and organized way. This it can include examples, image, and explanation that make it easier for students to follow their lesson. Overall, these materials and resources are chosen used to make their lesson more interactive, clear, and effective. They also help students stay active and interested during the learning process. I think that's all. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. Introduce myself. My name is Nabila and I'm from class D. So in this part I would like to explain the lesson procedure for teaching bound morphemes. And first let's move to the introduction stage. In this stage, the teacher start by grading the student to create a comfortable learning atmosphere. And after that, the teacher asks a simple and engaging questions such as, do you know words like unhappy, teacher, or rewrite? These examples are very familiar to students, so they can easily respond. And then students are invited to share their ideas. Some students may say that words have different parts, or they may notice that there is something added to the word. And from their response, the teacher connect their ideas to the main topic. And so the teacher introduced the topic of the lessons, which is bound morphemes. This is important to activate student prior knowledge and make them more deep interesting the lesson. Next, we move to the presentation stage. Here, the teacher begins by explanation the basic concept. The teacher explained that a morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a language, and then the teacher focus on bound morphemes. Bound morphemes part of words that cannot stand alone. So they must be attached to other words. For example, an, er, and in. And after that, the teacher explain types of bound morphemes. And the first one is prefix, which is added before words such as an, er, and this. And the second one is suffix, which is